The broadcast of the regular meeting of the Charter Commission will now begin.
Good afternoon. Welcome to this live broadcast of our virtual meeting. This meeting includes the remote participation of members as authorized under Minnesota statutes, section 13D.021, due to the declared local health pandemic. My name is Barry Clegg and I'm the chair of the Charter Commission. I now call this meeting to order and I ask the clerk to call the roll so that we may verify the presence of a quorum.
Commissioner Abbott.
Present.
Commissioner Cohen.
Here.
Commissioner Garcia.
Present.
Commissioner Ginder. Commissioner Kozak.
Here.
Commissioner Lickness. Commissioner Mackey.
Here.
Commissioner Newborn. Commissioner Perry.
Here.
Commissioner Rubenstein.
Here.
Commissioner Sandberg.
Present.
Commissioner Schwarzkopf.
Present.
Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Ginder. Commissioner Newborn. Chair Clegg.
Here,
There are 11 members present.
we have a quorum. I'm going to go a little bit out of order tonight and get to all of our administrative stuff a little later with your collective permission. As you know, we're pleased to have as a guest today Hennepin County Judge Toddrick Barnette. To respect the judge's time, I'm going to put him at the front end of our agenda before we dive into the administrative stuff. Judge Barnette was appointed to the bench in 2006 and was elected in 2008 and 2014. He just assumed the role of Chief Judge in July of this year, selected by his peers. As we all know, on the Charter Commission, the Chief Judge is the appointing authority for all charter commissions in Hennepin County. We currently have one vacancy, and the application period is open until October 30th. For those listening who are interested, the application process and form is on the city's open appointment page. If you just search for City of Minneapolis open appointments, you will land on that page. After considering applications received by that time, the judge will make his appointment. With that, I'll turn it over to Judge Barnette for any remarks he has, and hopefully he'll have time for a couple of questions after his remarks if charter commissioners have questions. Judge?
Thank you, and thanks for having me, and thanks for putting me at the top of the agenda. I really appreciate that. I just wanted to thank all of the commissioners for the work that you do on the Charter Commission. One of the reasons that I wanted to be present is that you do have an opening in which I will be the person to appoint the next commissioner. And I wanted to be here to answer any questions, also encourage any of the commissioners to reach out to me if you wanted to. Also, anyone that's listening and interested in applying, I wanted to encourage people to apply for the Charter Commission. So with that, I just want to tell you that I'm excited about this time. This will be one of my first appointments, and I just wanted to allow you some time to ask me any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Judge. Do any charter commissioners have questions? Please say so in the chat. Commissioner Sandberg has a question. Commissioner, go ahead.
Thank you very much. My question is, and I know this will be a huge additional burden on the judge, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm just wondering if his practice will be to somehow follow up on an interview or the contacts that are listed by the applicant to get a better sense of who they are. My understanding is that in the recent past, and certainly when I was first appointed, that was not done. And I'm just curious about that. Thank you.
The answer to that question is yes. I am going to follow up. I will follow up on any references. I'm going to follow up with those people who might be the finalists and talk with them. So that is my plan.
Thank you. Commissioner Rubenstein also has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Actually, I don't have a question. I just have a comment. I wanted to thank you, Judge, for being here. It's pretty unusual in my past experience for a judge of district court to take this time with us, and it is very greatly appreciated. So thank you.
You're quite welcome. You know, your chair and Casey Carl have been so great to me in answering so many of my questions. So they, you know, this is something that I wanted to do to let you know that I know this appointment is important, and that and so that's why I wanted to be here.
Thank you. Are there any other questions by commissioners or comments? Well, Judge, I echo Commissioner Rubenstein's. Oh, we have one more.
Okay.
Commissioner Perry.
Yes, again, like my colleagues, I want to thank you, Judge, for joining us today and taking time out, which from your busy schedule, which I think is very notable. Are there particular characteristics that you're looking in other than what is going to be on the open appointment process paperwork? Are there particular characteristics you're looking for from applicants?
You know, one of the things that I am thinking about, and one of the things that I think is going to be important, looking at the makeup of the board, one thing that's on the top of my list is having more diversity on the board. So I'm looking at that. I haven't had a chance to really look at each commissioner and what qualifications they bring and what the board will need. So I'll need some of that information as we go along in the process. So I'll be leaning on some of the commissioners to let me know what is it that you think that your charter needs at this time.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Judge, again, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. You're welcome to stay for the meeting, but we know you have a busy schedule. So thanks again.
I want to say thank you for having me, and you guys have a great meeting. I have to go do a wedding. So thank you so much for having me and putting me at the top of the list. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, we've already established that we have a quorum. We'll now proceed to our proposed agenda, the first item of which we've already taken care of, a copy of which was posted for public access to the city's legislative information management system, which is available at lims.minneapolismn.gov. Commissioners, the agenda for today's meeting is before us. May I please have a motion to adopt?
Motion Sandberg.
Is there a second?
Second, Rubenstein.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll on the motion.
Commissioner Abbott,
Aye.
Commissioner Cohen,
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia,
Aye.
Commissioner Gender,
Aye.
Commissioner Kozak,
Aye.
Commissioner Lickness, Commissioner Mecki,
Aye.
Commissioner Newborn,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry,
Aye.
Commissioner Rubenstein,
Aye.
Commissioner Sandberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Schwarzkopf,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Lickness, Chair Clegg.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That motion passes and we have an agenda. Next is acceptance of the minutes from the regular meeting of September 2nd. May I please have a motion to accept the minutes?
Motion Sandberg.
Is there a second?
Schwarzkopf.
It's been moved and seconded. We have a proper motion before us. Are there any corrections or any discussion before the clerk calls the roll on the minutes? With that, seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll on the motion.
Commissioner Abbott,
Aye.
Commissioner Cohen,
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia,
Aye.
Commissioner Gender,
Aye.
Commissioner Kozak,
Aye.
Commissioner Lickness, Commissioner Metke,
Aye.
Commissioner Newborn,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry,
Aye.
Commissioner Rubenstein,
Aye.
Commissioner Sandberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Schwarzkopf,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Lickness, Chair Clegg.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That motion carries and the minutes are adopted. The next item is the chair's report, and I have nothing to report today that's not already included in our printed agenda. Item 5 is introduction of Chief Judge Barnette, which we've already had, so we'll proceed to item number 6. Item number 6 is Charter Amendment Proposal Standards. We discussed these, as you will recall, at our last month's meeting. And since that time, I have made a couple of quick edits to these as we discussed at our last month's meeting. First, I incorporated Commissioner Schwarzkopf's suggestion that that the principles be recommended rather than mandatory. And second, I included a note in point 2 that the standards are, for the most part, not relevant to proposed amendments submitted by petition. Other than that, this is identical to what you saw last month. I would invite any questions and/or a motion to approve the principles as adopted by the Charter Commission.
So move, Ginder.
Second, Perry.
Is there any discussion? Any questions? If not, will the
I have a
Go ahead.
question. Thank you, Chair Clegg. I don't think we actually need to change the document, but one of my primary concerns, because it's what I've been hearing from people, is what will motivate us to ask for additional time. I think it's implied in the standards that if we cannot resolve one of the questions, then that would be a reason for additional time. It would be nice to actually say that. I guess it's not critical, but it is something I've been hearing from people and I was concerned about myself.
Any other questions or comments? Commissioner Sandberg, I interpreted that to mean that you are not making a proposal to amend these principles at this point. You're just clarifying that what would prompt us to ask for additional time for a council proposed amendment.
I think that's fair, yes.
Okay. If there's nothing else, will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Abbott,
Aye.
Commissioner Cohen,
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia,
Aye.
Commissioner Gender,
Aye.
Commissioner Kozak,
Aye.
Commissioner Lickness, Commissioner Metke,
Aye.
Commissioner Newborn,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry,
Aye.
Commissioner Rubenstein,
Aye.
Commissioner Sandberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Schwarzkopf,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Lickness, Chair Clegg.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That motion carries and the principles are adopted. Next is a status report from the Government Structure Work Group, and I would call on Commissioner co-chairs, Commissioners Garcia and Abbott, to give a report.
Well, we had our initial meeting, organizational meeting yesterday afternoon, and I think we put together a sense of some of the work we want to accomplish. We're looking, we haven't locked down a time frame, but I think we're looking to get through our work and produce a report and a recommendation to the Charter Commission as a whole sometime in January, perhaps early February. We are focused narrowly on the question of the balance of power between the mayor and the council and how it affects his city operations. We're going to be looking at some of the history of the charter, comparable cities. There is a proposal, I think, that we're going to pursue to do a questionnaire amongst the city department heads to see what their reaction is to the current structure and what they think might be better. And I think having taken all that information into account, I think we're going to, in November and December, we're going to get into the concept of perhaps doing a specific charter, a proposed charter amendment that we can recommend to the Charter Commission as a whole. I'm encouraged. I think we're going to do some good work here, and I think the meeting was a good one.
Thank you, Commissioner Abbott. Commissioner Garcia, do you have anything to add?
I do not. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the co-chairs? Hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 8.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Chair, this is Casey. I'm so sorry to interrupt. Also, we announced at the last meeting that the commission authorized you as chair to appoint this work group, but we had not have a meeting since then. They have met, but wanted to, this is our first meeting since then, to announce the members that you appointed. And so if you wanted to announce that, we'll include that as part of the record of this Charter Commission meeting.
That would be a good idea. I believe I identified at the last meeting that Commissioners Abbott and Garcia would be the co-chairs. In addition, I've appointed Commissioner Ginder, Commissioner Mecci, and Commissioner Smith, with me serving in an ex officio capacity.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate that.
I think in the past, I've asked for a motion to approve that membership appointment, so I'll ask for that.
Motion Sandberg.
Second, Abbott.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? And just as a clarification, as we've noted for our other work groups, all commissioners will be notified of work group meetings and able to fully participate and speak. Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion?
Commissioner Abbott.
Aye.
Commissioner Cohen.
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia.
Aye.
Commissioner Ginder.
Aye.
Commissioner Kozak.
Aye.
Commissioner Lickness. Commissioner Mecci.
Aye.
Commissioner Newborn.
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Commissioner Rubenstein.
Aye.
Commissioner Sandberg.
Aye.
Commissioner Schwarzkopf.
Aye.
Commissioner Smith.
Aye.
Commissioner Lickness. Chair Clegg.
Aye.
There are 13 ayes.
That motion carries. The next item is a status report from the Public Safety Work Group, and I would call on Commissioners Newborn and Rubenstein as co-chairs to give a brief summary of and update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to start. Since our last full commission meeting in September, we've had 4 work group meetings. At each one, we had invited guests and some rather lengthy questioning and discussion about the particular topics. On September 8th, we had a legal analysis of the proposed amendment, and besides city attorneys who have been attending our meeting, the new city attorney, Jim Roeder, attended. On September 15th, we turned to budget issues, and we had key city finance leaders join us and answer questions, along with Councilmember Palmisano, who is the chair of the Budget Committee. On September 22nd, we invited the co-authors of the City Council amendment to meet with us, along with Councilmember Cunningham, and again discussed where they are on their work with their proposal. On September 29th, Mayor Fry and Chief Arredondo joined us, and we spent more time particularly on staffing and reform efforts. We have another meeting with guests next week on October 13th to look at racial equity initiatives, and we will have staff from the city coordinator's office, as well as Commissioner Rebecca Lucero of the Minnesota Department of Human Rights. After that, we will be working on making our report with the intention of presenting it at our November Charter Commission meeting. And Commissioner Newborn, I don't know if you wanted to add something, but please go ahead.
Anything to add, Commissioner Newborn?
Great, thank you, Chair Clegg, and also Co-Chair Rubenstein. Nothing much to add other than we appreciate everyone's support and participation in the meetings, and the interviews and meetings with the city staff have been going well. That concludes my addition.
Thank you.
Thank you, co-chairs. That concludes item 8. We'll move to item 9, which is public comment. Is there any public comment tonight?
Mr. Chair, the tech team does not have anyone in queue, nor do we have anybody who had signed up for public comment.
Very good. With that, we've concluded all business to come before the Charter Commission this month. So without objection, we stand adjourned. Thanks, everyone.